I'm going to just just for those of you who don't know Paige, Paige is Nick's gorgeous daughter who's come over from Adelaide to celebrate.
He actually did just steal the beginning of my speech because that was what I was about to say.
Gorgeous daughter.
But yeah, especially the gorgeous part, I was about to say that. So I'm going to say it again because I do want to mention all of my cue cards because I spent a long time writing them. So you'll just so hi everyone, for those of you who don't know me. I'm Paige, Nick's eldest daughter, and I'm representing the offspring contingent tonight. So, myself... Yeah, fruit of that guy's loins. So, I'm so that's me, myself, Ethan, Lucinda and Audrey. And you'll have to forgive me because most of the speeches that I've made recently have been 21st speeches, which tend to be sort of stories of drunkenness and nudity. And I'm really glad to say that I don't have any of those about my dad. So I'll have to leave that to presumably everyone else here tonight, and I'll try to switch gears.
We'll be here all night.
Yeah. So, most people, when they hear about my dad, the bearded double bassist living in Brunswick Street in Melbourne, playing in bands, living in India, hanging with Bert Newton on GMA, they sort of tend to tell me how lucky I am to have such a cool dad. And while I can totally see how you would get that impression, he's actually a lot more embarrassing than he seems. Particularly when, while hanging on GMA with Bert Newton, Dad and the Prayer Babies performed a charming rendition for Australia of When I Think About You, I Touch Myself. And let me tell you that for me, that was not a good morning, Australia. And in fact, my clearest early memory of Dad is of him waddling through a shopping centre car park like a chicken at the climax of one of our Who Can Embarrass Each Other the Most games. Although, actually, for those of you sort of keeping score at home, I did win that one by screaming, "Help, this man isn't my father." In addition to sort of swaying haphazardly between being the coolest dad in Brunswick and being the chicken man in the parking lot, Dad is also a memorable parent for other reasons, such as being rather accident-prone with his children. So I've actually had a little help with this section. I was planning to get all the siblings to kind of contribute a story of certain death at the hands of my father. But unfortunately, when I got here, only Audrey was here. So you're going to have to, it's a two-man job instead of a four-man job. You'll have to work with me. So, my story begins at an outing with Dad to a friend's two-story art studio, where Dad decided that drinks... drinks sitting on top of the slanted roof of the building with his 4-year-old in tow was a great idea.
It wasn't Toy Stories, it was 4.
So I have a very vivid memory of sort of climbing up this ladder and Dad being like, yeah, go on up, you'll be fine. And unsurprisingly, that story ends with my legs dangling off the side, with Dad sort of grabbing my hand just in time with typical Thorpe reflexes. And I actually did an artist's reconstruction, which is here. So for those of you who can't see, we have the spikes at the bottom, we have a certain depth, we have a very high building, and we have little 4-year-old Paige with her pigtails hanging off the side. So that's how that one went. Now Audrey's story, she also thinks that Dad is a fab parent like 90% of the time, but she does remember one special holiday where she was abandoned to become a street urchin on the mean streets of Sydney after sitting down to play a video game in a museum and then eventually realising that her family were 4 blocks away. provided an artist's reconstruction of her upon finding out that her family had left. So this is little crying Audrey. Should we pass it? I promise it gets nicer now. So, but in all seriousness, Ethan, Lucinda, and Audrey and I do have the best dad in the world, or at least number 2 under Billy Ray Cyrus, because you know. So I also asked Audrey to tell me why she's really happy that this guy is our dad, and Audrey said that it's because he's nice, caring, and because he loves her. Aww. And for me, there are so many things that I love about my dad, but I think the best thing is the gift that he has for making people feel special and to feel like they matter. So even though Dad and I have always lived a state apart, he's always had a way of showing me that he's proud of me, whether it's a beautiful original song I mentioned in the liner notes of a Prayer Baby CD, or anything like that. A mushy phone call that makes everyone involved feel really uncomfortable. I know that he's always there for me, and that's the real reason why when people tell me that I have a cool dad, I agree.